So let me finish off chapter 9 now. What I'm going to be talking about are just some additional trimming operations, and I'm going to show you a nice little tool that we can use to copy certain three-dimensional shapes and place them all over the body so we don't have to draw each shape individually. And I'll try to get to one of the other projects that we have going on where we create kind of a bowl shape, and you see I've drawn one here, and hopefully I can show you guys how to do that also. So I'm just going to open up a new part, okay, and I'm going to just draw a block quickly. And let me give this block the dimensions 4 by 4 by 8. Okay. So here's our block. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and insert one of our datum planes that we learned about right in the center. So to insert something in the center, remember we click the two faces, and I'll go ahead and set an offset of 0. I don't want an offset. And I'll click OK. So you see, we can see the datum plane protruding from the surface of this object. Now we can use this datum plane in order to trim this particular object. So we can go to Insert, Trim, Trim Body. And we can use this plane, so we can say the body that we want to trim is this one. So select Body. We'll select this body. And select the face or plane that we'd like to trim on. So we can use this datum plane now to trim one side or the other of this particular body. So you can see, and we can switch using this reverse direction button which side of this we'd like to trim. So you see I trimmed one side of it, and that may come in handy for you later also. So the next one I'm going to be talking about are called instant features or instance geometries. So let me go ahead and close this. Okay, and I'm going to start a new tutorial here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a block. So let me go ahead and create another block, just like I did before, from Design Feature. And let me give this block dimensions of 8 inches by 6 inches by 1 inch. Okay, so here's our block. And I'm going to try to make this look like a heat sink. So in your computer you may have seen one of these heat sinks that have some fins coming off of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a boss feature. So let's go ahead and insert a boss. Okay, so insert, Design Feature, Boss. And the boss, I'm going to have a diameter of 0.25 and a height of 1 inch. And I'm going to place it on the surface of this. I'll click OK. And I'll set a perpendicular location of this. Let's say I want it at 1 inch from that edge. And from this other edge, I also want it at 1 inch. So I'll click OK. So there's a boss that has 0.25 diameter. It's 1 inch height, 1 inch from each one of the corners. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this boss to extend to the whole surface of this object. So let me go to Insert, Associative Copy, and I'm going to go to Instance Feature. And it's going to ask me what kind of instance do I want, and I want a rectangular array. So that means it's going to create copies of the shape in a rectangular form. And the next example that we do, we're going to do a circular array, and we'll use this circular array to create a few other types of shapes. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a rectangular array. I'm going to select the boss. Let me click OK. And it's going to ask us how many of these do we want along the x-axis. And I'm going to say that I want 7 of them. What's the space in between the center point of each one of these? I'm going to say 1 inch between each one of these. And the number in the y-axis, I'm going to say, let's have 5 going up and down in this direction. So we'll have 5 going up and down this direction, 7 going in this direction, and the offset between each one will be 1. So when you click OK, it's going to give you a preview of several of these column type shapes. Okay, and you can see how it's going to look before we do it, and it says if it is what we're hoping for, we can click yes, and we'll just click cancel after that. And you see now we've made an array of these different shapes with the certain parameter that we have set. Okay, this kind of looks like a heat sink or a circuit board that you may expect on some kind of computer device. Okay, let's do one more of these where we create a circular shape. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this. And I'm going to start a new one. So let me create a circular array. That last one was a rectangular array. So let's create a circle now. I'm going to give this diameter of the circle, let's say I want it to be 6 inches diameter. Okay? It's a 6-inch diameter circle, and I'm going to extrude it 1 inch. So let me select it. I'm going to extrude it 1 inch. Okay. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put a boss that's about 2 inches from the x-axis here. So let's go ahead and insert a boss. So let's insert design feature, boss. Okay. And I want this particular boss to have a dimension of the same, or we can use the same dimensions that we used in the last example. Okay. So it's going to have a height of 1 inch and a diameter of 0.25. Okay, let's select the face that we want this boss to appear on, and I want it to appear here. Now you can see it it's appeared. I'll click OK. Now I'm going to select the perpendicular location. I'm going to select the x-axis that I want it to be perpendicular from, and I want it 2 inches from that x-axis. Okay, and that's the only requirement. I guess I can also center it along the z-axis. So I can select this distance. Well, nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the distance to the y-axis. So let me go ahead and undo this. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. So I'll go to Insert, Design Feature, and I'll click Boss. Okay, I'm going to select the face that I want it on. Okay. And I'm going to select the distance from the x-axis. This is going to be 2 inches, and I'll apply that. And then I'll select the distance from the y-axis. Okay? And this distance should be 0. So now we have it's centered right along the center line of this circle, essentially. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go to Insert, Associative Copy, and I'm going to select Instance Feature. In this case, I'm going to select a circular array, and I'm going to highlight the boss. Okay? The number of bosses, or the number of these I'm going to replicate is 12, and I'm going to input this as the angle. I'm going to put 360 divided by 12, and I'm going to click OK. Now we need to have a direction that we want to circulate these points around. So I'm going to select the datum axis, and it's going to ask what axis is that. And let's say for this case we want the z-axis for it to rotate around. Okay? And you can see the preview of the instances of this shape appearing on the surface, and it's what I wanted, so I'll click yes. And now we've created these same shapes, but now in a circular fashion. In the next few lessons, I'm going to teach you how to use the circular array to apply it in the opposite way, so creating holes. I'm going to show you how to use a mirror plane, and then I'm going to try to show you, if we have time, how to do one of the last tutorials that I assigned you, which is section 9.9.5. and we draw kind of a tub. And I may or may not save that for class time, but I will certainly get through the next couple tutorials. So I'll see you in a few minutes.